Today we will compare side by side Wix, Squarespace and WordPress so you can take an informed decision when choosing your website builder. Welcome to DevWorld, my name is Sam, and today we're actually gonna compare side by side with a project which is the best website builder. Is it Wix, Squarespace or WordPress with Elementor? I really want to get into the detail what is actually the best website builder, so that's why I made a design, and I'm actually going to build out 3 sites, the same site or more or less the same site, so we can compare how much time I have to spend to build this website. So it's quite a simple website, it's just one landing page. But I think we should get a good idea how much time I will spend in each platform. And then after that, I will compare what I thought is the best website builder to build a website out there. About myself, I'm a programmer now. I've been a web designer for a couple of years now. So I've sold websites with WordPress and I've sold websites with Wix. Squarespace, I know a little bit, but surely good enough to make a comparison here in this video. So let's get right started with the first website. So the first website, or the first example of the website, I will build out with Wix. All right, this here is Wix. Wix I know quite well. I've built quite complicated websites already with Wix. What I really like about Wix is, yeah, you can see it here. It's very, very free flowing. You can put whichever element wherever you want, with every color you want. It now got way better during the last 1.5 years, where you now have global theming. It's a little bit easier to build not just a website, but kind of a system. A downside, of course, with Wix is that if you don't really have a design structure, or if you don't really have the basics down of design, then you can get out of hand quite fast, because yeah, you can pretty much put each element wherever you want. So I think it's important to at least have a little bit of a design background or design knowledge to make a website and not get lost in some kind of design that at the end of the day doesn't really look good. All right, I finished the website with Wix. It was going very, very good. I think the end result looks more or less nice. Here you can see how the end result looks like on a desktop. Of course, with Wix, you have a very easy way of changing the mobile version. So let's say deleting or hiding elements that you don't want to show on a mobile view. And that's how the mobile view looks like on this website with Wix. I didn't design a mobile view beforehand because each tool has its impact on the mobile version. So I want to kind of let the tool dictate how the mobile version will look like. But of course, at the end of the day, it still has to look good. So yeah, now let's get right into to Squarespace. As I said in the beginning of the video, I'm not the best or most experienced Squarespace web designer. But with Squarespace, it's kind of, yeah, you way more boxed in, because it's quite different to Wix. Wix lets you do whatever you want, and Squarespace has their specific design principles which they apply on the website builder. If you want to change anything that's outside of their design thinking, then you have to add actually code. So you have to add CSS code in the CSS section of the builder, but you can't easily just change sometimes the smallest things. So it feels for me while doing that, I'm kind of fighting the tool a little bit more, or a lot more actually, than with Wix. But at the end of the day, usually the design looks quite good. All right, I now finished with Squarespace. I couldn't get the map full width, unfortunately. Most probably I could do something with CSS, but I didn't want to do that. At the end of the day, I think Squarespace, even though it was kind of a fight with Squarespace, it looks very nice now because I didn't really have to worry about the spacing. One thing I didn't really like is that on the mobile version, you couldn't really, without coding, like without CSS code, you can't, as far as I've seen in research, can't really change it as easily as you would with Wix. So here there are some elements in the mobile design, like here you can see the 2 images on top of each other that you couldn't easily change without code, and I didn't want to spend the time with the code here. So that's what I meant when I said I wanted the website builder to dictate the mobile version. So this is, yeah, quite a negative point in my opinion. All right, that's that. Let's now jump right into WordPress. With WordPress, I have to say I don't really like WordPress, the platform, too much. Even though I've built and sold websites with WordPress, but one thing that actually came that makes WordPress very, very enjoyable to develop with is Elementor. I'm like the biggest fan of Elementor. They're really doing a great job with their drag and drop builder. They came a long ways in the last kind of 2 years. They implemented a lot of new features. So let's get started with designing the website on WordPress. The unfortunate thing here is I first have to set up a server and a domain with a host. I use Bluehost. You can use whichever host you want. And then I have to set it up there. Usually it's good or it's easy going to do that, but sometimes you have some issues there, which, yeah, it's more kind of a technical thing. Setting up a WordPress site than it is with Squarespace and Wix. They make it very, very easy for you. So I have to do that first and then start with the website. So you can see here designing the website with Elementor with here on WordPress. It's very, very easy. I think they have a great mix between what Wix offers and what Squarespace offers. So they don't box you in as much as Squarespace does, but they don't give you the whole freedom that Wix gives you. Yes, you can see here it's just drag and drop. It's very easygoing, and usually as soon as I have the WordPress things, the WordPress customized and setting up the server done, I'm usually very, very fast, like faster than compared to the other two with Elementor itself. All right, like it usually is with Elementor, it was a breeze going through it. You can just drag and drop and the elements and let Elementor do its thing with the spacing and everything like that. There is a little learning curve to it, let's say compared to Wix, where you just can drag and drop wherever you want. But at the end of the day, I really, really like that they like the grid kind of system they have, where you don't really, you can't just put every element where you want, but it's in its spot. And especially then with the mobile version, it makes it so easy to then apply a very, very nice mobile view for your design you did on the desktop. All right, we have the 3 websites now done. I think they look almost similar. So let's go to the summary. Let's compare the times I have actually done and the prices. And then as a third thing, I want to have more of the soft facts. So what I think about the 3 website builders in different categories. All right, first of all, with Wix. With Wix, I used around 25 minutes for the desktop design and another 5 minutes to adjust the mobile version. So a total of 30 minutes. All right, with Squarespace, it took me a little bit longer, 35 minutes. It didn't take no time for the mobile version because you can't really change the mobile version unless you want to code, and I didn't want to do that. So even though the mobile version doesn't look really too nice because I have my fixed design, I used 35 minutes for everything. Then with WordPress, I had a setup time of 15 minutes, which you don't have with Wix and Squarespace. And then the website development took me around 40 minutes, so the longest of everything. And then an additional 5 minutes for the mobile version or to adjust the mobile version. I have to say though, I think with Elementor, you're faster than with Wix and with Squarespace. What takes longer with the WordPress website is the things you have to do inside of WordPress itself. So everything that's outside of Elementor. So yeah, that's pretty much that. So you used 40 minutes or 45 minutes in total. So I just want to quickly talk about the prices. So with Wix, I think a fair estimation is around $4 a month with the more or less cheapest package, which is bearable. Then the other with Squarespace, it's around $12 a month. And then with WordPress, you have around $4 a month for hosting. And then if you're serious about the website you do with WordPress, you most probably want to get Elementor Pro, and that divided by a month is around $4 a month. So $4 for hosting and $4 for Elementor Pro equals around $8 a month for the WordPress website with Elementor Pro. So now I want to talk about, try to be very, very quickly with the categories that I have for the soft facts. So mobile friendliness, I give Wix an 8, Squarespace a 5, and WordPress a 10. Elementor makes it so easy to implement the mobile version. Coding free, Wix is completely coding free. You can do whatever you want, customizable inside of the editor. Squarespace is a 5 because I think if you want to customize it just a little bit, you have to use code. And then WordPress with Elementor is usually coding free. Then beginner friendly, Wix of course is the most beginner friendly you can have. Then Squarespace is a 5. It's easy to set up actually, but you really have to get the gist of it and understand how Squarespace sees the design that you're able to do it. So I think it has the biggest learning curve of them all. And then WordPress, especially with Elementor, is quite beginner friendly. What you have to know though is that WordPress in general is more technical, so you have to know more stuff, especially how to install plugins, just different website technical stuff you have to know before actually starting the website. Then performance-wise, I think Wix and Squarespace perform very, very good. Like if you do speed tests with Google, like the website will load fast and everything. It's very nicely structured. It's good, has a good performance with SEO. WordPress, on the other hand, I just gave it a 6 here because you really have to know what you're doing, setting up the right servers, being with the right hosting company that gives you a fast server. You have to implement the images the correct way to be able to perform. If you do it everything well, it's as performant as you will have with Squarespace and Wix. But if you don't do that, then usually the performance is not so good. Then maintainability, I give Wix and Squarespace a 10. The only thing you have to do there is you have paid a monthly fee and you're good. With WordPress, you have to update the plugins you have, and you have to use plugins usually if you have a WordPress website. So yes, you have to be quite on top of things, otherwise your site might get insecure or even break sometimes if you have issues with plugins. Then theming and structure, this is how easily is it to have global style. So if you want to change, let's say, the feel of your website and change the font, can you do that in one aspect of the page, or do you have to go through every element and change it? Then of course Wix suffers there a little bit with its customizability. You have global styles, but usually it's quite a chaotic structure with the website you usually end up with. Squarespace of course boxes you so much in that the theming and the structure is 100% nice, because yes, you're so boxed in. So I give it a 10 there, and WordPress gets an 8 because especially with Elementor, with the new global styles, it's very, very easy also to apply theming. With scalable business, I mean, can you actually make a business out of your website there? There I give Wix an 8, especially with Wix Velo, formerly Wix Corvid, formerly Wix Code. I've actually built quite advanced websites with Wix, so you absolutely are able to build a business website out of your website there and add a lot of functionality with databases and everything. The only thing is, it's unfortunately not that well known that Wix can do that, but if you actually know it, Wix can do a lot of things. I think Squarespace is here for you if you just have, let's say, a blog or a business website and that's it. I think if the website is the main aspect of your business, Squarespace shouldn't be the choice. So WordPress gets a 9. WordPress, of course, is for a business website. So for a website you want to make a business out of, a blog, there are a lot of plugins you can have to make a business website or a business out of your website. That will lead us to a total of 59 points for Wix, Squarespace gets 47 points, and WordPress gets 54 points. All right, that means Wix is the winner and you should only use Wix. Of course not. There are kind of applications for all of them, and I want to talk about all of them. So I want to explain it like that. Why use Squarespace over Wix? So I think if you like how Squarespace sees the design, with a very modern design with a lot of white space, so a lot of space in between the elements, and you just want to put content into an almost fixed template, I think Squarespace is the right option for you. The price is okay, and you don't have to do a lot of maintenance yourself. So why WordPress over Wix? Of course, if you need a specific plugin, because the plugin structure of WordPress is huge, there are a lot of plugins out there. If you need a specific plugin for WordPress, then of course you have to go with WordPress. If you like how Elementor does things, then you just might want to have WordPress just because you then can use Elementor. I wish that there would be a web service like Wix or Squarespace out there that uses the Elementor designer. I think that would be best of all worlds, but if you don't have that, I think that could be a solution. If you like Elementor, go with WordPress. But I have to say, only do that if you're a little bit of a technical person, if you know why to resize an image on a website. Other than that, you can end up with technical difficulties because WordPress, yes, requires a little bit of technical knowledge before building a website. And then of course, why Wix? Of course, why Wix is inexpensive, it's easygoing, you can do whatever you want, it's fast, it's easy to maintain. So it's almost all of the above. So I think for most people, if you work for clients, if you want to build your own website, I think Wix is a very, very good choice. All right, that was already it. So I hope that you now know for your next website project which website builder to take. Don't forget, if you want to see more videos like that, don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, I always appreciate a like. See you in the next one.